I finally took a bunch of you guys' advice and finally took a vacation, and I haven't uploaded to either of my channels over the past 3 days. We didn't post on Laced Up, and for that, I'd like to apologize to you guys. But when I came back, I saw some very interesting news in regards to Kyle Kuzma, and yes, I know, another Kyle Kuzma video, but I couldn't help it. There's so much information on the guy, and he's really making waves in the news, and after hearing a report that he potentially may not get along with LeBron James that we made a video on last week, I feel like this is very interesting because he took a shot at the Los Angeles Lakers and some subtle jabs at the Los Angeles Lakers in this interview he did with Bleacher Report that also gives you an idea of what his intentions are for the future. Now, really quickly before we get to the content, guys, I wanted to let you guys know we're giving away a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X on this channel in the beginning of August. All you have to do to enter is subscribe and turn on our notifications for this channel. We're doing the same giveaway once my Laced Up podcast hits 40,000 subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe and turn on our notifications on that channel. If you could also do me a favor and smack that like button for the YouTube algorithm, it really helps us a lot. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So for those of you guys that didn't catch our last video on Kyle Kuzma, I'm going to give you a brief little summary about the history between Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James and what Colin Cowherd said about the two last week. So if you guys remember, Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James have a sticky history with each other. This all began when Kyle Kuzma's trainer at the time posted this onto his Instagram story, pretty much roasting LeBron James and saying that Kawhi Leonard is better, saying that nobody wants to speak on how sharp Kawhi Leonard's skill set is compared to LeBron's. It's clear who's really in the lab and who isn't. Let me hear the excuses. I'm on vacation. I got nothing but time. He then went ahead and posted this picture saying, turn the film on. Somebody was dodging smoke yesterday and it wasn't Kawhi. Now, this wouldn't typically be a big deal, but Kyle Kuzma happened to tweet this saying, call a spade, and many of us assumed that it was in reference to what his trainer was saying. Now, apparently Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James squashed this. This was LeBron James's reaction to it.
Kuz came to me yesterday after practice and told me what was going on, and that was it. I really don't really care for someone's training or whatever the case may be. Everyone can have their own opinion, and anytime someone wants to get some notoriety, they can throw my name in and people gonna pick it up, and that's why you asked me about it, because my name was in it. So I've never met the guy, I don't know the guy, I don't care less about the guy, whatever the case may be, so I wish him the best.
And Kyle Kuzma pretty much told LeBron, hey, I cannot control what other people say, and they moved on from it. But here's the thing that was really interesting from that incident. When Kyle Kuzma said call a spade, it's very consistent with the same issues that he currently has with the Los Angeles Lakers. You see, Kyle Kuzma was no longer LeBron James's second scoring option after the acquisition of Anthony Davis, and as a result of his diminished role, he saw his numbers plummet tremendously, averaging as much as almost 19 points per game during the first season LeBron had with the Los Angeles Lakers, and going all the way down to 13 points per game over the past 2 seasons. And while I'm assuming he was okay with this at first because, of course, he's making the necessary sacrifice to win a championship, he's growing his other social platforms like his Instagram, he's dating IG models, and for the most part, Kyle Kuzma is known more as an influencer in Los Angeles at this point than for his remarkable talents as a basketball player, at least in my opinion. Now, in our last video, Colin Cowherd came out and said that LeBron James doesn't get along with Kyle Kuzma. And whether or not that is true, honestly, that's up to your interpretation. I could believe that. At the same time, I feel like Kyle Kuzma just feels the urgency of needing to leave LA. Otherwise, he could eventually see his career fizzle away. And the direct quote from Colin Cowherd is, the Lakers think they have a shot at Damian Lillard. That's sort of a Los Angeles delusion. The Lakers have players like KCP, who's a solid player, but he's hot and cold, which is not what Portland wants. Kyle Kuzma, well, LeBron James doesn't get along with him. So to be honest, I do agree with the first half of the statement because the Lakers do think they have a shot at Damian Lillard. Me as a Laker fan, I don't think we do, even though my thumbnails sometimes suggest the opposite. Then Colin Cowherd went on to say that they would love to move on from Kyle Kuzma, but he's kind of expensive and it's not the kind of contract you can't move, but it's not necessarily team friendly considering that he disappears in big spots for the Lakers, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. I think Kyle Kuzma has a pretty nice contract considering the type of player he can be, considering that he's not in a situation that he's playing to his strengths. And honestly, it seems like we all agree at this point that it's time for Kuzma to move on, because in this interview that he did with Bleacher Report yesterday, he did take some shots at the Los Angeles Lakers, particularly with this one soundbite in regards to the Phoenix Suns and how he felt about them as a team that made it to the NBA Finals, saying that I saw the Phoenix Suns as a potential finals team just off of their chemistry. Last year with us, we had unbelievable chemistry and everybody kind of gelled and knew their role and had fun playing with each other. I noticed playing them that same type of feel. Everyone was communicating, talking, having fun, smiling with each other. Usually when you have a team connected like that, you win big. And although I do have to agree with Kyle Kuzma because the Lakers literally won a championship, then completely redid their roster, saying goodbye to Rajon Rondo, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Danny Green, and bringing in Montrezl Harrell, Wesley Matthews, Andre Drummond, and Dennis Schroeder. Although Andre Drummond was acquired in the middle of the season, chemistry was one of the biggest issues that the Los Angeles Lakers had this year. But listen to what Kuzma says at this point, and this is what would raise a couple of eyebrows in my opinion. My biggest thing is I just want to play within a consistent role. So pretty much at this point, he's kind of taking a shot at the Los Angeles Lakers, or maybe at Frank Vogel in general, because Kuzma's numbers did dip ever since Frank Vogel came in, because of course this past year Kuzma was moved around from the starting lineup to being a bench player and really all around the Lakers rotation due to the myriad of injuries that the Los Angeles Lakers suffered this year. Now Kuzma continued to say, if I have that ability, I'll be able to showcase what I can really do. There were parts of this year and even anywhere else in my career when I'm in a consistent space, I'm out there handling the ball, making teammates better, scoring, shooting, defending, rebounding. I think if I'm in that space, I'll be good. So clearly this sounds very similarly to when he tweeted call a spade, and other points where he said that he wanted a bigger role on a team, which is really the reason why Kyle Kuzma is a favorite to be traded from the Los Angeles Lakers this year. And personally, I think he probably would end up on the Sacramento Kings, reunited with his former head coach that he had the most success with in Luke Walton. But get this, Kuzma has tremendous confidence in himself, saying that he believes that he can make it as an NBA All-Star and can average 25 points per game, saying I definitely can. I definitely believe that too. I don't really care what nobody thinks or says. I know myself and I know my ability. It's hard to be consistent in an inconsistent role. I'm excited for a more consistent space next year. So again, taking shots at the Los Angeles Lakers for the role that he was put in this past year. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this interview with Kyle Kuzma. If you're a Laker fan, what do you think of Kyle Kuzma currently? Would you like the Lakers to trade him? And if so, where do you think he'd be traded to other than the Sacramento Kings for Buddy Hield, which is a trade that I outlined already multiple times? If you guys want to talk more basketball with me, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.